General Hospital spoilers teasing that Emma Scorpio Drake will fly into a rage when she discovers that Jocelyn Jacks was the one who sabotaged her USB drive. Emma's cool professionalism shatters in an instant as she realizes that a critical cache of encrypted files, years of painstaking investigation into Professor Henry Dalton's covert projects, lies irretrievably corrupted. Determined to root out the culprit, Emma vows to unearth irrefutable proof that will bring Jocelyn to justice. Yet, as she delves deeper into Jocelyn's secrets, she uncovers a revelation far more shocking than mere workplace sabotage. Jocelyn herself is a covert operative for the WSB, handpicked by Jack Brennan and embedded in Professor Dalton's circle to expose his grotesque experiments. Late one evening, Emma returns to her makeshift command center in the dimly lit confines of the hospital archives. Rows of dusty file cabinets flank her workstation, but her focus is on the shattered remains of her USB drive, now trapped in a tangled mess of circuitry that emits a faint, persistent spark. Her jaw clenches as she replays the memory of Jocelyn's flawless performance at the nurses' ball weeks earlier, the way she'd slipped past security, her pristine white gloves brushing against Emma's unsuspecting hand as she planted the drive on the refreshments table. No one noticed. No one, that is, except Emma. With precision born of years in the field, Emma reconstructs Jocelyn's steps, the careless removal of her own wristwatch to mimic a guest's momentary distraction, the deliberate misdirection of a passing intern, the glint in Jocelyn's eye as she pocketed the drive. Every detail was calculated, professional. Emma's blood heats with indignation. She knows the drill. Find the flaw in Jocelyn's cover, exploit it, and bring her down. But when she traces Jocelyn's digital footprint, a cascade of red flags emerges: encrypted ISP logs, dead-drop locations, and unmarked phone calls that pinpoint Jocelyn as a WSB asset assigned to infiltrate Dalton's lab. Emma's first reaction is disbelief. Jocelyn, the bright, ambitious student so eager to please Professor Dalton, the vivacious socialite with a quick smile and a disarming laugh, was nobody's idea of a spy. Yet every parsed packet of data, every intercepted communique, bears Jocelyn's signature code. Emma's research shifts from vengeance to astonishment. She recalls having overheard Jack Brennan, the venerable field director, mention selecting a promising rookie for a delicate mission. Could he have seen something in Jocelyn's unassuming demeanor? Emma's mind races as she pieces together the clandestine recruitment. Jack, ever the strategist, recognizing early on Jocelyn's uncanny ability to blend in and gather information without raising suspicion. Determined to confirm the unthinkable, Emma arranges a covert meeting with Dr. Greg Madden, the hospital's specialist in digital forensics. Under the pretense of examining anomalies in Dalton's grant proposals, Emma slides a dossier across the table, timestamps of Jocelyn's logins, patterns in her keystrokes, anomalies in her biometric scans. Dr. Madden's brow furrows as he studies the data. These are WSB-grade concealment protocols, he mutters, adjusting his glasses. Whoever trained her gave her the full toolkit. Emma's heart thuds, a mixture of validation and foreboding. The implications are staggering. Jocelyn isn't merely a rival, she's an operative with the full backing of Port Charles's most powerful intelligence agency. Armed with this confirmation, Emma pivots her investigation toward Professor Henry Dalton himself. For months, rumors of his secretive nocturnal sessions in the sub-basement laboratory have plagued the university. Reports of animal distress, of cries muffled by soundproof doors, of unregistered shipments of lab specimens, all were dismissed as campus gossip or academic paranoia. But now, with Jocelyn's insider status in play, Emma senses the true horror of Dalton's work: unauthorized vivisections, experimental neuroenhancement trials on defenseless creatures, and a twisted ambition to pioneer pharmaceuticals through cruel shortcuts. Emma orchestrates a surveillance operation, deploying micro-cameras in the corridors adjacent to Dalton's lab and wiring hidden microphones in the storeroom where feed bags and surgical tools are stored. Each night, she reviews the footage in painstaking detail, her eyes scanning for any sign of Dalton's infamous Project Genesis. What she uncovers chills her to the bone, Dalton overseeing a group of terrified raccoons, meticulously marking injection sites on their flanks. Technicians scribbling notes as the animals convulse under anesthetic doses far exceeding regulatory limits, Dalton himself leaning over a workbench, the gleam of surgical instruments reflecting in his sunglasses as he lectures on the importance of breaking the species barrier. Emma's resolve hardens. She knows that to bring Dalton to justice, she needs incontrovertible proof derived from within the lab itself, a sample of his research logs, blood slides showing neural tissue damage, video of the procedures, anything admissible in court. And only one person has legitimate access, Jocelyn Jacks, Dalton's star pupil and coveted lab assistant. Emma's investigative instincts scream at her to recruit Jocelyn's unwitting cooperation, to bend her to Emma's cause. But the realization that Jocelyn is already a WSB asset complicates everything. Emma wonders, was Jocelyn assigned to gather intel on Dalton's atrocities? Or was her mission equally driven by a desire to end animal cruelty? And if their objectives align, why should Emma view Jocelyn as an adversary rather than an ally? Yet jealousy stirs in Emma's chest. She recalls her own excitement when she first pitched the Dalton case to Brennan, how she meticulously assembled leads and marshaled evidence, only to be told that the assignment would go to someone better suited for under-the-radar infiltration. Emma knows the unspoken truth. Brennan entrusted Jocelyn with the mission because of her youth, her innocuous cover, and her connections in both academic and social circles. Emma, for all her talents, carries the aura of a hardened agent, and that conspicuous competence would draw scrutiny. The sting of being upstage flickers between betrayal and professional indignation. Emma's plan takes shape. She will expose Jocelyn's WSB affiliation in a way that discredits her and forces Brennan to reassign the Dalton investigation back to Emma. First, she plants false but traceable evidence in the WSB's internal communications network, a forged memo suggesting Jocelyn's transfer to a less sensitive operation. Next, she leaks a rumor at Schiff Hall, insinuating that Jocelyn's proximity to Dalton is a cover for espionage far beyond animal rights violations, feeding whispers of a clandestine bioweapons program. With each subtle manipulation, Emma tightens the noose around Jocelyn's reputation. But as Emma watches Jocelyn stride into Dalton's lecture hall, notes clutched in hand, determination in her eyes, Emma hesitates. She remembers Jocelyn's face when she first discovered the lab's horrors, the same mixture of revulsion and moral outrage that Emma herself felt. Could they, in fact, be allies against Dalton's depravity? Or is it too late for cooperation when deception has already begun? Emma's internal conflict simmers as she weighs ambition against justice, jealousy against truth. Meanwhile, Jack Brennan, stationed in a secure WSB safe house, receives encrypted reports of anomalous data spikes in internal channels. His steely comm fractures when he deciphers the breadcrumbs pointing to Emma's machinations. He steps from the shadows of a steel-reinforced conference room, face lined with controlled anger. Emma, he determines, has overstepped, but her actions are not punishable by dismissal. She has neither compromised agency protocols nor endangered national security. Yet, Brennan resolves to confront Emma directly, to remind her of the broader mission and to reassert the chain of command. But the seeds of distrust have been sown, and he fears that Emma's ambition may eclipse the agency's purpose. Weeks later, as the first snows of winter begin to dust the campus quad, the two spies find themselves on a collision course. Emma intercepts a courier poised to deliver Dalton's encrypted research logs to a government oversight committee. Jocelyn, shadowed by campus security cameras but unaware of Emma's presence, retrieves a flash drive from the professor's office during an after-hours meeting. The two agents converge in the deserted hallway outside Dalton's laboratory. The fluorescent bulbs hum overhead, and the musty scent of after-hours academia fills the air. Emma steps from the shadows, voice low but fierce. "Hand over the drive," she demands. Jocelyn, startled, instinctively clasps the device to her chest. Her eyes narrow. "You're out of line, Emma. This mission isn't yours to claim." Emma advances, resolve hardening into steel. "I'll be the one to take Dalton down." Step aside. For a heartbeat, time stalls, then Jocelyn's training kicks in. She circles Emma, stance defensive but ready, and replies in measured tones, "I was here first. Brennan chose me for a reason." The tension crackles like electricity. Walls seem to contract around them as each woman gauges the other's resolve. Emma's grip tightens on the pistol in her holster, a sidearm issued only to senior operatives. Jocelyn's finger hovers near the release button of her concealed comlink. Both know that one wrong move could ignite a firefight in the very place they seek to protect. But before the showdown can erupt, the distant clang of metal on concrete echoes through the corridor, a reminder that Dalton's security detail circulates on shift patrols. Jocelyn tucks the drive into a hidden pocket and steps back. "This isn't over," she warns, voice icy. Emma's expression softens for a fleeting moment, an acknowledgement of shared purpose tinged with personal rivalry. "Not yet," she concedes. As Jocelyn slips away into the maze of lab corridors, Emma watches her disappear around the corner. The hallway falls silent once more, save for the hum of the lights and the distant murmur of the campus. Emma knows that the coming days will test her allegiances, her moral compass, and her very identity as a WSB operative. She cannot afford to lose focus. Dalton's atrocities must be exposed, and the animals he tormented must have justice. But as she steps into the shadows herself, Emma Scorpio Drake carries with her the burden of betrayal, ambition, and the knowledge that even the most righteous missions are tainted by the human heart's darker desires. The true reckoning lies ahead, and in Port Charles's shadowy underworld of spies and conspiracies, only those who navigate personal ambition and collective purpose with unwavering integrity will emerge unscathed. The corridor's hush is broken only by the click of Emma's heels on polished linoleum, as she pursues the narrow path toward Dalton's inner sanctum. Every step reverberates with the weight of her quest, to avenge the voiceless creatures Dalton has torn apart, to reclaim her pride as a consummate investigator, and to outmaneuver the rival who now walks those same shadowed halls. Ahead, the lab's reinforced door stands ajar, a thin line of greenish light, and the metallic scent of disinfectant, spilling into the passage. Emma pauses, pressing her ear to the cool surface. Inside, she can hear the whir of centrifuges and the low murmur of Dalton's voice as he dictates notes, oblivious to the drama unfolding in his domain. With deliberate calm, Emma slips inside. Her gaze sweeps the room. Rows of stainless steel tables, each cluttered with glass slides stained crimson, electronic biopsy instruments humming softly, and cages in one corner whose former occupants have left only tufted fur caught in the mesh. At the center, Dalton sits before a bank of monitors displaying microscopic tissue samples, his expression one of grim satisfaction. He reviews an image of neural cross-sections, enlarging the view until each severed synaptic filament is grotesquely vivid. Emma's pulse quickens not with fear, but with the familiar rush of purpose. She crosses the lab with silent precision, feet memorizing the route she once walked alongside Jocelyn under the guise of academic curiosity. In a flash, she locates the locked cabinet rumored to hold the master research drive, a small, reinforced safe bolted to the floor, its front panel illuminated by a single red indicator. Emma produces a slim bypass tool from her jacket pocket, one learned from years of clandestine entry. With deft fingers, she manipulates the lock until it yields with a soft click. Her hand hovers over the cabinet's contents, a thick USB drive etched with Dalton's initials, alongside folders labeled Project Genesis and Neurosynthetics Data. But as Emma withdraws the drive, the lab's overhead lights snap on in a blinding hiss. Dalton's face appears at the edge of the doorframe, fury twisting his features. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he demands, voice echoing off the steel walls. Emma clamps the drive in one hand and straightens, lips curling into a steely smile. "What I've been sent to do," she replies. Dalton's nostrils flare as he lunges, but Emma is faster. She pivots, slamming the cabinet door shut between them and using the edge of the table to shove him back. The two grapple in a violent dance of desperation, Emma's training pitted against Dalton's brute strength. She manages to twist free, sprinting toward the door with the drive clutched tight. She bursts into the hallway, only to collide with Jocelyn Jacks, who emerges at speed from the opposite direction. The two women skid to a halt, eyes locked in mutual recognition of the other's deception and immediate threat. Jocelyn's breath comes quick but measured. In her hand, she holds her own flash drive, identical in shape, but stamped with WSB cryptography. The air between them crackles with betrayal, camaraderie, and the unspoken truth that only one can leave this encounter victorious. "Give it back," Jocelyn orders, voice low but authoritative. "That drive contains evidence we both need." Emma's lips twitch with disdain. "We'll see who deserves it more," she retorts, pressing a finger to the comm link hidden at her belt. A soft beep responds, signaling to her handlers that she's in position. Emma's mind races. If she calls for extraction now, she'll secure the drive and escape before Brennan or any reinforcement arrives. But inside her burns a stubborn ember of integrity. She wants to witness the downfall of Dalton with her own eyes, not through a screen. Jocelyn advances, grace under pressure. "You can't be serious," she says. "You'll destroy all our work if you leave now." Emma bites back a retort about Jocelyn's meddling, instead lunging past her rival for the stairwell. Jocelyn's hand catapults out, catching Emma's wrist with a steel-lock grip. The impact sends sparks of pain through Emma's arm, but she twists sharply, freeing herself and bolting into the stairwell. The race down 3 flights of stairs is a blur of adrenaline. Emma's supply belt rattles with every step, comm devices, scramblers, a compact tranquilizer pistol. She hears Jocelyn's heels pattering behind her, relentless pursuit fueled by mission loyalty. The stairwell door at ground level swings open into the moonlit quad, where the first snow of winter lies undisturbed. Emma emerges into the chill night air, lungs burning with cold and exertion. She tucks the drive into her inner pocket and freezes, listening. No sirens, no footsteps yet. Breathing heavily, she scans the open space, the arch of wrought iron gates, the skeletal oaks outlined against the sky, and beyond them, the glittering lights of Port Charles sprawling toward the bay. Behind her, the stairwell door creaks. Jocelyn stands framed in the dim light, her breath visible in the cold. For a moment, the two women simply stare, adversaries bound by duty yet driven by personal ambition. Emma slowly removes the USB drive, gaze never leaving Jocelyn's. "You want it?" she asks softly. "Come and take it." Jocelyn's answer is a silent nod, resolve hardening her features. They circle each other warily, the snow crunching underfoot. It's an unspoken arena now. Emma's hand drifts to the pistol at her hip. Jocelyn's hand searches her coat, no doubt for a sidearm of her own. Each anticipates the other's move, muscles tense like coiled springs. But just as Jocelyn lunges, a distant voice cuts through the tension. "Hold it right there." Both women spin toward the sound. Jack Brennan strides into the quad, flanked by 2 uniformed WSB operatives whose night vision goggles gleam. The agents raise their weapons, trained on the cornered pair. Brennan's expression is a mask of controlled fury. He holds up a hand, halting his team. "Everyone, lower your weapons," he commands. Then, to Emma and Jocelyn, You two, inside now. In the secure confines of a nearby safe house, Brennan paces before a long table strewn with evidence. The two drives, screen captures from Dalton's monitors, Emma's forged memos, and Jocelyn's field notes. Emma stands rigid, arms folded, jaw clenched beneath her dark eyes. Jocelyn sits, her posture composed, though her knuckles whiten on the edge of the table. Brennan stops pacing and fixes Emma with a steely gaze. "Explain yourself," he says, voice low. Emma inhales, summoning her courage. "I exposed Jocelyn's identity as a WSB asset to force reassignment of the Dalton mission back to me," she begins, each word precise. "Her infiltration is amateur. I should have been first choice, my methods are proven. And she sabotaged my drive to slow my progress." Silence stretches as Brennan processes the admission. Finally, he nods once. "You're right about your skills," he concedes. "Your field record is impeccable." Emma's relief warps into suspicion. "So I'm forgiven?" she challenges. Brennan's eyes narrow. "Not forgiven, but useful. You two will partner on this operation. Together." Emma's lips part in incredulous defiance. Jocelyn, however, inclines her head slightly, a silent bargain struck. Brennan elaborates. "You both have strengths. Emma's digital expertise, Jocelyn's academic cover. You'll combine forces, pull your intel, and take Dalton down. And neither of you will undermine the other again." He slides the two drives toward the center of the table. "Now, work." Over the next weeks, Emma and Jocelyn inhabit an uneasy partnership. They carve out a clandestine workspace in the bowels of the hospital, a repurposed storage closet rigged with laptops, secure comms, and forensic equipment. Their days alternate between fieldwork and data analysis. Emma decrypts Dalton's encrypted files, revealing patient records of animals subjected to unapproved biochemical compounds. Jocelyn cross-references laboratory logs with Dalton's published papers to identify discrepancies. They share intel on Dalton's off-site experiments. Reports of midnight convoys to an abandoned boathouse on the waterfront. Emma taps into shipping manifests, while Jocelyn leverages academic contacts to confirm the delivery of unregistered chemicals. Despite their shared purpose, tension simmers beneath every collaboration. Emma keeps a ledger of Jocelyn's contributions, secretly ranking her achievements against her own. Jocelyn, for her part, records Emma's patterns of suspicion, noting how quickly Emma questions her motives. Yet, as they splice audio from Dalton's recordings, his curt instructions to technicians, his offhand remark about accelerating neural growth at the cost of peripheral function, both women feel the raw surge of moral clarity. This mission transcends ego. Every slide they uncover, every voice clip they authenticate, strengthens their resolve to bring Dalton's cruelty into the harsh glare of public scrutiny. Their breakthrough comes when Jocelyn recalls a chemical compound mentioned in Dalton's early grant proposals, one so rare it would require a direct order from a specialized supplier. Emma traces the digital purchase order to a discreet veterinary pharmaceutical firm outside Port Charles. With a WSB-backed search warrant, they descend on the facility under the cover of night, accompanied by federal agents. The raid reveals crates of experimental reagents, crates stamped with Dalton's name and containing vials labeled Neurocatalyst X-22. Emma lifts a rack of vials, the phosphorescent liquid catching her torchlight. "He's been testing this on animals," she whispers. Jocelyn nods, eyes shining with grim triumph. Enough for a conviction. In the aftermath, the evidence is airtight. Dalton's personal notes describing surgical procedures on canines, his own hand-drawn diagrams of neural pathways being severed and manipulated, and the forensic confirmation of tests on animal tissue. The federal prosecutor convenes a grand jury. Emma and Jocelyn, once adversaries, stand as co-witnesses, their testimonies weaving a narrative of scientific hubris devoid of conscience. Each detail they recount, every lab session, every furtive midnight experiment, cements Dalton's fall from grace. As Dalton finally faces indictment, denial etched on his gaunt face, Emma and Jocelyn find themselves on opposite sides of the courtroom foyer. They share a brief nod, an unspoken acknowledgement of the journey they endured, of the lines they crossed, of the alliances forged in fire. Brennan watches from the backbench, a rare smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. He had demanded cooperation, and here it stands. A testament to the power of unity over rivalry. In the weeks that follow, Emma's name is cleared within the WSB, her skills lauded for uncovering Dalton's atrocities. Jocelyn returns to her academic life, a decorated undercover operative with newfound respect for the rigors of field craft. Though their partnership dissolves as missions diverge, the bond they share, tempered in the crucible of moral warfare, remains unbroken. Both carry with them the knowledge that justice sometimes demands sacrifice, and that even the fiercest rivals can become the most indispensable allies when the darkness falls.